I'm ready.
Get ready. It's time for the Me and Jesse podcast with Mark Pavelich and Jesse Martineau. Get ready. It's time.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Me and Jesse podcast. My name is Mark Pavelich, and in the Grove, the big sexy. And he's excited today, everybody, because the NFL season is rolling.
It's on.
The one and only Jesse Martineau.
Thanks, everybody. Hope everyone's having a good night. Yes, NFL is back, and that is very exciting because already after one Sunday, by the way, Sunday football is amazing. But after one Sunday,
yes,
what a crazy set of games that took place.
It's like they planned it. You know, like it looked to me like
it's either like they planned it or they said, let's not practice for a month.
Well, what, Jesse? But what about this part? How did the Monday night game become the Monday night game, and how did Baker Mayfield play against his old team? Like, how did all this come to fruition? You know, it's just crazy.
Did someone
times.
in NFL land,
yes,
figure something out? Did they decide all of a sudden, hey, you know what? People want to watch cool matchups, and because it's week one, let's try to get everyone back in early rather than waiting till week 8.
Yes,
to watch a great matchup. Now, necessarily not a great matchup, but one that you want to see because there's a lot of other things that happen in the offseason that made you want to watch, like Baker. And then the Browns throwing shade on Baker. And then...
yeah, it's endless. But listen, before we go too far, your guy's wearing a different color jersey this year. And Russell Wilson is going to be playing for the probably, in my opinion, the ugliest jerseys in the NFL.
Well, let me pause you right there for a second because he's no longer my guy.
This is what I love about you. This is what I love about you. You would drive him over with a bus right now, knowing I know you. And this is what I love about you. And trust me when I tell you this, I want to see Seattle destroy Denver tonight. That would be a dream. That would be so good for me because they're in my division. But it just would be poetic because I really wanted to see Baker Mayfield win yesterday too, to be honest with you, to beat Cleveland. Then some kicker makes rookie kicker makes a 58-yard field goal with 1 second left on the clock. His dreams go down. My Raiders, literally, and it's funny, after I did the psychoanalyzing of the Raiders, and I once again confirmed that Derek Carr has a super low IQ when it comes to football. And everybody in the world, in Raider Nation, I don't want to use profanity on the show because if I did, the F-bomb would be coming out right now. Because if you think he's our quarterback of the future, you're on drugs. He you know what? After 9 years, let me explain this to people. I've been waiting for this all day, man. And after 9 years of playing for the Raiders, he has not won one playoff game. Okay. So 9 years, hasn't won one playoff game, has been in the playoff twice. Of course, he was hurt the one time. So 2 times under his reign. Yesterday, throws the most interceptions ever in a game. And you know what he says after? I gotta be careful about rushing the ball. Listen, bro, this isn't peewee football. You've been playing in the NFL for 9 years. If you haven't figured it out by now, and Jesse, please do this for me during the show today. I forgot the name of the backup quarterback for the Raiders, but he would be far better. And they were saying that yesterday. It was a record for the Raiders. They didn't throw one interception the whole time during the preseason. And someone chimed in and said, yeah, you know why? Because Derek Carr wasn't playing. And let me tell you,
Jarrett Stidham.
Mr. Stidham, I'm going to call him Mr. Stidham. You put him in, they win that game yesterday to show you that the Chargers aren't as badass as everybody thought they were. He threw 3 interceptions. He was sacked about 7 times, and they only lost. And he had 3.5 minutes left. 3.5 minutes left to go down the field to score a touchdown. And of course he can't. Okay. But what I'm saying, he had that opportunity. He had a ton of time. He had 2 timeouts and couldn't do it. And what I'm trying to
the problem is that
yeah.
he has, like, they have this in their head that he's done the most fourth quarter comebacks in the last, whatever, 8 seasons. The problem is, why are you always in that position?
Correct.
You've
That's
also been in that position the most.
Yes.
So you shouldn't have to always come down to the last play of the game when you're trying to win a game, because teams are going to start to figure that out, and they have now, I think, and they know what to do. And again, I do think the Chargers badass. I think they had a bad game, but
they did.
Yeah.
That's Jesse. Thank you. People are saying how great he played and everything, but there was parts of they played like shit and they still won. And the crazy part was, I woke up today and I was like, you know what's funny? You have all these great players on the Raiders. You know what the problem is? You forgot about one thing. You have no safeties.
Yeah.
Your safeties suck. They're terrible. I mean, Hobbs is a great player, but he's the only one. But the rest of them, you have a whole field to throw at, and they got exposed. So if Max Crosby doesn't rip your head off in the first 2.5 seconds, and Chandler Jones didn't look like Chandler Jones yesterday, I think he had one play that he looked like he was kind of relevant in playing. So when the only one that looked like who he was supposed to look like yesterday, besides Max Crosby, was Devontae Adams. And
he had a really nice catch too.
Well, let's be honest. An idiot can throw him the ball and he would still get 100.
Throw it on the size of a 2-car garage and he could probably catch it.
You could throw it anywhere, which he proved that yesterday night. Yeah, even on his touchdown, it was a shitty throw and he caught it.
It was.
It was.
He had to catch it with fingertips.
With his fingertips on a 10-yard pass.
I'll tell you right now, Aaron Rodgers sure misses Devontae Adams.
Oh, yeah, after yesterday. But you know what's funny? Tell me if you're a Green Bay fan, you're not looking at it. You're not concerned like you are if you're a Raiders fan. Because as you pointed out, our schedule, listen, you have arguably one of the top 20 quarterbacks of all time in Aaron Rodgers on your team.
Sure.
That guy will not. You know what he did this morning when he woke up? He called every rookie receiver and he went out to the field with them and he threw balls at them. And he said, the first prick that drops a ball, you're going home today.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's how Aaron Rodgers rolls. Aaron Rodgers is, you're not going to make me look stupid. You're not going to make me look like an asshole. You guys better hold on to the ball. End of story. And it wasn't Aaron Rodgers' fault yesterday. It was the kids couldn't hold on to the ball.
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple home runs that should have been caught. They drove right through the hands. So
exactly. Like I said, if the Raiders think after 9 years that Derek Carr is the answer, they're idiots. And I'm telling you, it's you know what I love about it? Because the new coach comes from the holy grail of coaches. Okay, Bill Belichick. You know what's going to happen? Even by mid-season, if this thing isn't looking kind of nice, he does have the courage to pull $100 million guy and sit him on the bench and put Mr. Stidham in. And if you watched him in the offseason, he didn't look like a backup quarterback anybody. And you know where he came from? He was the backup of Tom Brady in New England. That's why he went and got him, because he said, when Carr doesn't play like he should after 9 years, he looks so uncomfortable in the pocket. How did this happen, Jesse?
That's an interesting theory.
The coach that came from New England takes Stidham because he knows how Stidham knows how to play. He knew that Stidham was never going to see the field in New England, right? Never going to happen. But he saw him in practice and said, holy shit, this guy could probably be a starter on any other team in the NFL. In preseason, he dominated in preseason. He looked like a real first string quarterback. And I said to myself, maybe Josh McDaniels is way smarter than I think he is, because he got this guy and now he's going to have him on waiver. They won't wait till the middle of the season. I promise you that. If he runs amok next week, you might see Mr. Stidham in quicker, because Stidham sat behind Tom Brady and got to watch the best.
Well, obviously there's something there, because he did coach him, so he knows something. And I mean again, like Carr, I don't know, you throw back-to-back picks. Two picks, and like really, like he can't
throw the long ball, Jesse. He can't throw the long ball. He's the king. He's the king of the check down. And his poor friend, I know they love each other, and I know that he's a big fan of his, and they played together at Tuck State and and literally it wasn't like a school, like it wasn't a Nebraska, it wasn't a Michigan, it wasn't Ohio State, it wasn't one of those. What was it, Mississippi State or something like that? They played that together, him and Davante Adams. And you know what's funny? I thought to myself, Davante Adams, the way he played yesterday, that should have been a 200-yard game for him, 200 yards. And he's going to put that perspective, because even though they're friends, trust me, he doesn't care, because he wants to win, Jesse.
Yeah, he
just
wants
left
to
Green
win. Bay. So that's saying something, because you have to, unless he's an absolute moron, but
exactly.
You have to understand that Aaron Rodgers getting you the ball was a huge part of your production. So, I don't know. I think McDaniels does know that something has to happen. I do really believe that. And he has to give him a shot, though. And like I said, this first 5 weeks for them, minus the Titans, but you have 4 games that are not easy.
And I thought for sure, honest to God, you know what? I'm going to bring this up because I can't stand that anymore. When I see these idiots sitting on the sideline during the preseason, and they're screwing around on the sideline, and they're talking, and Derek Carr's walking around like he's the man, and he's talking to Max Crosby, and he's just walking around doing nothing, and he's kind of like they look like they're playing around, like Davante Adams is, and they're all having fun. Davante Adams is going to come and deliver. Does it really kill Derek Carr to get out during the preseason and throw some balls? You know why I'm saying this? Because look at Kansas City. Why does arguably the best quarterback in the NFL play in preseason? You know why, Jesse? Because he asked to. He asked to play in the preseason. He says,
well, there was a time when they all did play a little bit.
Well, Patrick Mahomes played in the preseason, and people were like, what the? He's going to get hurt. No, he's not. You know why? Because he's going to throw the ball away.
Yeah,
he's going to throw the ball away.
He played a couple series, and he was smart. He just wanted to see the guys move. He wanted to see real time again.
Correct. Look what he did his first game back. 45, put up 45
and you go
points.
Against and again, you lost a game that was winnable because Chargers didn't play well.
They did not.
Let's be real. And they
did not.
And
Herbert played well. The defense was shaky.
Yeah, which defense should be really good.
Look, the DJ they were shaky, but they still got 6-7 sacks.
I know.
And still got
turnovers.
3 interceptions.
Yeah.
And still 3 interceptions. So if you're a Raiders fan, if that doesn't scare the shit out of you for next week, because they played shitty, and that's what they got on you, right?
And you are now next week going against the Cardinals, who got the beat down. They got the beat
Which
down.
they won't.
They're going to be pissed. They don't. They're going to want to. And it's at home. Yeah, it is at home. Or no, it's not.
It's in Vegas.
It's in Vegas.
It's in Vegas. Yeah.
But still, they're going to be pissed. They're going to want to win. They're not going to want to go 0-2 that division, because that division's also very scary.
Yeah.
For most of it. So it's going to be a tough game. You got the Titans the week 3, which is fine, but then you're back to the Broncos and followed by the Chiefs. So 5 weeks.
We'll see right now. We'll see tonight. Now I'm so curious. This game starts really soon on Monday Night Football, and I'm super curious to see how Russell Wilson fits in with the Denver system. And I know, he's a great quarterback. There's no question about that. But nobody really knows where Seattle's at right now either. So we're gonna find out tonight, right? Seattle still has some great pieces, and those pieces will have to be used immensely moving forward. It's
going to have to be used immensely, and then also somehow other guys are going to have to play way better than they are, which again, that's a tall order. But I think this is one of those years where you're thinking, let's get a quarterback. Let's get a quarterback in the draft.
Don't you say the R word though? Don't you dare rebuild? Don't you dare say
that
word.
I say rebuild. I say tank it to get a top 3 pick.
Oh, I agree.
Get a QB. And you'll be all right. You could build. They're starting to build O-line pieces. And...
Why? You don't have to wait, Jesse? Because Seattle, if they're smart, you know who they're going to get. Baltimore Ravens didn't think they should sign him. He has an open-ended contract now. It's bizarre to me that they didn't sign. I don't give a shit what he asked for. Give it to him. They didn't. And now he's going to be available. Listen, we have a lot of things that are going to happen. And I know people go, oh, Mark, you should take it easy. It's only one game. I'm like, you have no idea. When I saw Carr yesterday, I thought to myself, he looked literally like a rookie playing his first. He looked so confused when the pocket was closing in on him. He didn't move his feet. he was just let it implode on top of him. And this is what you do as a rookie. You don't do that as an NFL player in your 9th year.
Yeah.
I've said it from the beginning. He's a nice guy. He's a good Christian. He's all the other things.
Yeah.
Low
Well,
IQ.
Lamar Jackson refused a $180 million guaranteed
Yeah.
contract
Yeah.
just yesterday. So
It doesn't matter though, because
that
by
to
the
me
end of the
says,
season,
well,
there
that to
might
me
be
says
more.
that something. Well, yeah, it's going to be more. It has to be more. It's going to be fully guaranteed. That's what it's going to be.
He lit it up yesterday.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he lit it up yesterday. So
Yeah.
he knows what's going on right now. He's like, okay, that's my base. Now I want more money because you want to be. He ain't playing for the Ravens next year, ladies and gentlemen. He is not playing for the Ravens next year. He is not.
Yeah, well, it doesn't look like that right now because
No.
he wants more than Deshaun got, Watson, and he wants.
You believe that? You even believe that bullshit? The suspension that he got, and then the funny part of it was, first of all, they gave him 5 games, and everybody went nuts, and they fined him $5 million. Then the NFL says, no, man, we can't. We
were wrong on that. We thought he would
Yeah.
he'd get 6 and serve 4 idea. But they
No,
actually the
they had
outcry was way too big, and they had to get him more. So it should have been the season, to be honest. It should have been.
Jesse, it should have been multiple seasons,
Oh, yeah.
okay? Because this guy, I don't know how they can even pretend this didn't happen. But man, oh man, when
it
you
happened.
it happened, and it's
Yeah.
crazy because only the NFL they can make sense of this kind of shit, and they let him play in preseason. Jesse, they let him play in preseason. It was crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy.
I don't know what they're gonna do with that whole thing, but the problem is that you set a precedent now
Yes,
that
You did.
you can like have 25 plus accusations against you and really only get a few
Yeah.
games. When
But
you
Jesse,
think
what
about
about
it.
Jesse? You know what the crazy part is? He settled with 25 of them out of the 26 or whatever. He settled. Like, you understand?
Yeah,
You
no,
don't
that's
set-
what I mean. That's guilty.
You don't settle with
He
people that
pled
you don't-
guilty to
like,
25 of
yeah,
26.
correct. Like, this guy has a serious problem, man. Like, a serious problem. He needs to be in jail. He
Well,
actually
he
needs
could
to
have
be in
been.
jail. Yeah, he needs to be in jail.
Could have been. Like, everyone is an assault issue. So you're right. He absolutely could have been. Like, I don't get that. It doesn't make sense. But again, this is what we've said from day one: is that the NFL doesn't really care about that. They care about winning, making money.
Me and you, we can officially, you and I, we can call it. Me and you can officially call this the Colin Kaepernick rule, though. We can, right? Because for any idiot that tells you that Colin Kaepernick is not playing in the NFL today because he kneeled down during the national anthem, you should have your head examined, because the amount of crap
stupid. Yeah,
that
it
they're
doesn't make sense.
letting Deshaun Watson play football in the NFL in 10 games from now.
Yeah.
And he's got 25, 26 sexual assault charges against him, sexual misconduct charges against him, and they're going to let him play.
Yep.
Guys, think about it for a second. NFL never cared, never will care. That's how big this juggernaut is of the NFL. They could care less.
Don't give a
because
care. They don't care.
They don't care. And you know what's funny? Let's talk about let's go on to this, Jesse, because this is driving me nuts too. How and when is the UFC going to have a code of conduct for fighters? Listen when I say this out loud. You could be worth $4 billion. I was in the MMA business for 16 years. 99% of the shit going on right now in the UFC, I wouldn't allow in a million years. You imagine when Nate Diaz shows up on Monday with 50 guys, Jesse, in his posse. He's never had 50 guys ever in his posse before.
Were they all vegans, I wonder?
Maybe, right? And smoke a ton of weed, right? So they're all vegans and they smoke a ton of pot. He shows up with 50 people. Chimaev shows up with 50 guys. Now, when they both show up with 50 guys, Jesse, me and you own the UFC, okay? When they show up with 50 guys, you look at me and say, Mark, there's going to be a problem here come weigh-ins and press conference day. So, so me and you as owning the UFC, I see, Jesse, what we got to do immediately? We speak to their management. We tell them for every infraction that your team makes or anybody makes, it's $100,000. And then we're going to keep going on and on and on. And see, what happened was, listen, I don't have a problem with Dana White. And in my opinion, he's the second greatest promoter in the history of MMA. Okay. The second greatest. So, you know what the funny part about him is? He's always said this. He goes, I'm going to let people say whatever they want. I'm going to let them talk how they want. I'm going to let them say whatever they want, blah, blah, blah. There's a problem with that. Okay. NFL doesn't let you talk the way you want. NHL doesn't let you talk the way you want. Major League Baseball, you name it. You go through the every sport in the world you want. You can disagree with people. You can do those type of things. But you have fighters now that are using words that, it's crazy. Everything from being homophobic to racism to you name it. This is the new way they talk. And I'm thinking to myself, I wonder why there's never been a Nike swoosh in the middle of the octagon. I wonder why Rolex has never got involved with the UFC. And you imagine the UFC sold for what, $3-4 billion? Yeah. And they still got that kind of money. But what I'm trying to tell you, this company could have been worth $30-40 billion. You know what I'm saying? Like Major League Baseball is, like the collective group of it all. And I thought to myself, when you let these guys talk this way, they F-bombs is like a regular thing at a press conference now. Like you can tally them up. There's thousands of F-bombs. Sure. But when you start talking about people's religion and ethnicity and about their wives and about all this other stuff, that's crazy. That's not trash talk no more, man. That's crossing the line. And if you don't come up with a code of conduct, and listen, Dana, I know that, we were around at the same time together, and I know you're a smart guy, and I know for some reason you think it's like you're kind of, what's it called? You're kind of like monitoring them, or you're censoring them by the way they talk. And that's incorrect. That's not what you're doing. There is a code of conduct. Every fighter and manager has to sign it. And until that takes place, you can't fight in the UFC no more. And if you don't have a code of conduct, man, you're never going to be taken serious like Major League Baseball, NFL football, baseball, Major League Baseball. I'm just telling you, it's a big problem. And we saw it this weekend when guys are showing up with posses of 50 people each. And you just shake your head and you're like, you knew there was going to be a problem. And then there was a problem. And then it's like, oh, people were like, really? We didn't think there was going to be a problem when 50 guys show up. You understand? The Rolling Stones don't walk around with 50 people in their posse. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna give you a hot take here.
Please.
Now, Dana said that this has never happened before. Never happened, ever. UFC's history, never seen it. Never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
Not too long ago, there was a bus driving Khabib. I'm not sure if he was driving the bus himself, but he was in the bus.
He wasn't. Yeah,
he was in there. And then there was a posse of McGregorites that came out and attacked the bus that Khabib was in. Do you not remember this? I thought I remembered this. Yeah, I think I remember. I was surprised that Dana didn't remember that.
It was fresh.
So it's definitely happened before. Now, yes. I have a working theory. UFC 278, people freaked out because they bumped up the pay-per-view price to $80.
Oh, the last one, 279.
The last one, 270. This was 279. The one before it was 278, right, which was $80. The numbers sucked. The buys sucked. People were pissed. My thinking is, this is McGregor 2.0.
So you think they're doing this because they need to cause some kind of...
I 100% think that.
Like the madness outweighs the stupidity.
I'm calling it out. I have no facts to prove this, but I really do believe this is what is happening.
Yes.
I think that's what happened with the McGregor thing. Not that you really needed to sell more, but you wanted to sell more, and that made it.
Of course.
Because it put it in every mainstream news that doesn't normally report about the UFC the next day. They report it after the fact. What happened here? Everyone all of a sudden, what happened to UFC 279 weigh-in? What's going on with this card? Why is Dana on the news now? Because buys were down. Buys have been down. This is a $4 billion company. It relies on pay-per-view buys. So buys are down. What do we do with this? This card sucks. I don't know. I thought it sucked, but you like, what can we do here? Well, hey, Nate, why don't you bring all your friends that don't eat meat? Shemaev, why don't you bring all your friends that hate vegetables
and don't
drink, and you meet in the hallway for a little while and have a little conversation? Then we'll do the weigh-ins. Now, Chimaev, I want you this week to only eat meat. Don't eat any vegetables at all, and see what you weigh. I think I've heard that you'll weigh less. And turns out
over 8 pounds.
He weighed over a little more. He weighed 8 pounds more. Now, he didn't realize that he couldn't just eat cheeseburgers. So that was the problem there. But why not use this whole kind of commotion going on to sell some more pay-per-views? Hey, you know what else we could do? Let's mix the card up. So everyone thought one thing, and now I want to see Diaz fight Ferguson. Hey, that's a great
way
idea.
more fair fight, but it's a way more fair fight.
I know it is. And so I am going to be on the side of saying that this was maybe not fully planned, but you roll with it and be like, hey, this can actually work for us.
So what you're saying is that Dana's like super smarter than I thought.
Yes.
Because I think
he's smart.
He is smart.
Because
he goes, yeah, he is smart. And he goes, just let it go. But make sure no one gets killed.
Yes.
And no one has a knife.
Well, and you say that before. Hey, nobody gets hurt. Nobody, gets a little blood's okay. A broken nose here and there is fine.
Yeah.
But, no major, I don't want the ambulance to come. And go at it for a little bit. We'll yell, we'll film, we'll weirdly enough have a camera crew back there waiting. And
like they did for the bus.
Yeah, exactly.
The bus.
Weirdly, it wasn't like a WWE performance at all.
Oh, exactly, man.
Right?
I was waiting for Triple H to come out.
Why is Triple H in the back with a film crew in the parking lot?
Totally.
And so I'm like, okay, guys, you know what? But hey, this is promotion. This is what people want. Honestly, this is what people want. People want to be entertained, and this is the
total craziness.
And it goes to the NFL. Like people want to see that crap. They want to see Deshaun. When Deshaun Watson, what's working now in the world in terms of like what we love to pick a side, and when we pick a side, we'll die. We'll go to the grave for that side.
You know what even proved that more than anything now, just lately, is LIV Golf.
Yeah.
LIV Golf has made golf combative. It has made golf combative in the fun. Did you see the other day, Billy Horschel and who's Ian Poulter were on the practice green at the BMW Championship, right? Ian Poulter, for some reason, looks like he's about 7 feet tall on the green. And he walks up to Billy Horschel because Billy Horschel's been running his mouth nonstop about LIV Golf. And they let the LIV Golf, 18 players from the LIV Golf Tour play in the BMW Championship. And sure as shit, they got on the green and Billy Horschel piped up and Ian Poulter, said, nah, man, you ain't going to talk like that in front of me, man. You got something to say it now. And he didn't say shit.
No.
And you know who else has become super disappointing is Rory McDonald. I need him, seriously, man, for a guy that's so great at golf, okay? He's fantastic.
Yeah.
He's diminishing who he is as a human being because he's commenting on it so much that he actually looks so concerned about it that it takes away from how great of a golfer he is.
Right.
And if you're as great as Rory McDonald is at McDonald at golf, you know what? You don't give a shit who's playing. You don't care who's in the field. I could care less. That's what I would say to people. If I was Rory, you want my street cred to rise up immensely? Yeah, I don't give a shit how many guys from LIV Golf Tour are playing. I could care less. They're going down. That's how it works.
Mean Rory McIlroy.
Rory McIlroy. Sorry,
yeah,
I was thinking Rory McDonald for another reason for after. Yeah. And then, because another thing that popped into my mind. Sorry about that. But what popped into my mind was that Rory, on many occasions, at the beginning was slow rolling this entire thing until just lately where they got to play in the same event together. And then literally was crying like a baby about how is it possible. And someone said something great the other day. They said, you know what? I started to play golf for one reason only, to play against the best golfers in the world, regardless of what organization they play with. That's all I care about. So this is what's happening. You let them play. You know what? I say, so be it. You're all subcontractors. I think everybody should cross back and forth. It'd be way more entertaining, but what do I know?
Well, the funny thing too, I thought was funny, was that McIlroy left it an inch short for a win at the BMW. He had the eagle putt, left like an inch and a half short, and he just stared at the ball. And then Lowry was in the tent.
Yeah, he won.
Yeah, and he called the win one for the good guys, which I don't know what that means, but
Yeah, exactly. No, Rory's fallen off on my books. I can't get the vision out of my head of him just whining about it.
Yeah,
I
it
can't.
is stupid. Like you're like, oh,
Yeah.
it's taking away things. It's taking away money. It's taking away. They're still golfers.
Yeah.
And they're still good. And so they're not taking away anything. It's just because they're playing in another league.
Nothing.
Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I really don't get their argument there. I think it's ridiculous. I think the whole argument of that's ridiculous. When you're in a sport where you're a contractor, you should be allowed to play where you want. So it's not. It doesn't make sense that you're taking away
Correct.
a spot. There's not spots to give. It isn't
No.
like that. That it's never been like that. So you. It's a moot point. So they let him in. And they should have. I think that was a smart move. And you know what it did? Get this one.
Got us all watching.
Got us watching because we let LIV golfers in. That is like, hey, I think finally someone in the PGA head office there is figuring something out. Someone's been talking enough.
Yeah, maybe.
I've been watching their social media. Their ad buy is massive right now. I talk about
The
LIV.
PGA Tour.
Yes.
And it wasn't prior to
It was not. I
We-
get
in fact,
pumped with ads from the PGA now because LIV has just owned social media.
Remember you said
Their
that, though?
reels were hilarious.
Remember you said that the first week that LIV came out, you said, I have never seen nothing from the PGA Tour on social media.
Yeah.
In fact, you were so shocked and said, I wonder who runs their social media account because it's so horrendous. It was terrible. And then all of a sudden they're taking out Instagram ads.
Yeah.
Like, are you serious?
TikTok killing it. Like
TikTok.
they're plowing TikTok. And
Yeah.
so like and it's funny, they're doing the same style thing that LIV is, which
Yeah.
shows you, which proves the point that everyone's been saying, is that the PGA needed to change. It needed a kick in the pants to get up with the current times.
And here's the
because
kick.
your age base is basing it all hoping that the next Tiger Woods is coming isn't a business model. It isn't doesn't make the sport entertaining. LIV comes on and does the exact thing that everyone needed it to do. And I think someone in the PGA office has finally yelled enough saying, "Hey, we have to pay attention. We have to pay attention. We have to pay attention." And they're starting to. That being said, and I think you always tell the story about Mark Cuban about talking about, how do you get rid of an issue? Well, you don't talk about it
For 21 days.
for 21 days. So
Yeah.
then why did the PGA go so hard? And now they've actually stopped really saying anything officially about it.
Yeah,
They're officially not saying anything anymore.
that's right.
Because they realize, oh, this was backfiring on us. Every time we say something, people are lighting
We're making
us
them
up.
bigger. We're
We're
making
making them bigger.
Bigger,
And again, so I think that is, I think they're figuring that out a little bit. It's going to be interesting now what happens next if they actually figure out how to be cool.
Correct.
I think they got a long way to go. And I think LIV has some work to do too, because I'm not going to
Me
just
too.
say they're perfect.
Me too.
I think those logos that they have for the teams are stupid. I
Me too.
think most
Me
of
too.
them. Some are fine, but some are like, I'm not that. What is this?
Yeah, it's super
1990?
cheesy. Yeah,
This is like
yeah.
2001 make your own hockey team logo.
And it kind of does look like that.
It does
You're right.
look like that. So
Yeah.
I'm like, you got to work a little bit on some other stuff.
Make it
but-
shinier.
Yeah, but for for the most part, I mean, it is, it's hilarious. It's great. It's
Yeah.
entertaining. They're doing things. They're making it funny. They hired a couple really attractive women to make Instagram posts for them. And
Surprise. Yeah.
ta-da! Look what sells, everyone.
Yeah.
And hey, it works. And I mean, people like, even if they don't really care about the golf, they're watching. They're watching the stories. They're watching the posts. They're watching people on there. And you're like, well, that's all it is. They hired a really funny guy that I follow from California that is like really like over the line to do interviews during the press conference and ask questions and just stupid questions. And the golfers played along and it was really funny. I'm like, man, that takes a lot of balls to do that.
Did you see Pat Perez, who's on the team? He's on the same team as Dustin Johnson. He said that he made more money in 4 events
Yes.
with the
And
team
that's the
money,
other thing.
with the team money,
Yeah.
and with where he finished. in like the team money they give them and all the rest of the stuff. He made more money in the 5 events than he's made in his entire PGA career.
Crazy.
So you go ahead and judge people for wanting to make more money.
Yeah.
You know,
Look at
Varner III. His wife said, we don't give a rat's ass what anybody says or thinks. It's our family, and we're going because we're going to make generational money, and we need money for our family, and we don't care what anybody says to us because you guys don't pay our bills. You guys don't send our kids to college. And I thought, you know what? That's the smartest thing I said. Like, why are you concerning yourself so much about where anybody's playing golf? If they're making that kind of money, let them make it.
I mean, hey, look what's going on in the NFL. Lamar just turned down 180 million guaranteed. Like, I mean, hey.
And then he lit it up the next. And you know what? He ain't no baby. He didn't lay down yesterday. He lit it up. He lit it up because he knows what's going to happen. He knows there's going to be an opening in Vegas probably soon. He knows there's an opening in Seattle soon. He knows there's an opening probably in 4 or 5 teams where
Tampa
that
Bay.
can happen. Tampa Bay, Tampa Bay for sure next year, right? That's right. Because I don't think Tom can play one more year. I think that's the problem.
Giselle put the foot down.
Finally, she's like, we got all this cheese, we got everything going on.
And again, like, I don't know what's going on there. Obviously, things are going on in his home life, and so that's been made public. But you know, I don't understand. I mean, I do understand, I guess, wanting to keep playing because he wants to and he likes it.
He loves it, yeah.
And so, okay, fine. Maybe he doesn't want to be at home. Like, maybe he doesn't like Giselle. Maybe that's the case. But either way, he's finally saying, I think, okay, that's enough.
Well, did you hear him in the interview yesterday after the game? He go after, you know what? I felt horrible about my game yesterday. Horrible. But then for some reason I watched the night game and watched Dallas and I felt better about myself. I just felt so much better.
On a personal level, you felt better.
Oh my God. I just felt so much better putting up 3 monster points. With Dak Prescott now out for 7 to 8 games after his injury. So that's been reported today. Dak is out for 7 to 8 games. And I'm like, wow. I mean, what a time to be a Cowboys fan. You know,
in my fantasy drafts this year, I'm like, you know what? I have a really bad feeling about the Cowboys this season. Everyone was like, oh, he's going to come back. They're going to do stuff. Yeah, they lost some things, but I'm like, I don't know, guys. I don't know. And I mean, I didn't expect something like this, but you know, I don't want to say injury prone, but
very injury prone. Yes.
I mean, hey, again, like, you know, like, oh, they're freak accidents, but they still happen, and they don't.
Zeke doesn't want to run the ball 32 times a game. You know that, right?
He can't.
No, he can't. So this is where you have a problem now when you have your backup quarterback come in because Zeke's not a Billy Sims. He's not, he's just not these kind of, these players that can run 32, 33, 34 snaps a game. He cannot. And I'm telling you, that's a problem now that when you start running that backup quarterback in there, he needs someone to help him out. And Zeke's awesome, but he's not going to run it 32, 33 times a game. He is not.
No. And so they're already looking at, because they don't really have another QB. They have a guy that they
Where's Garoppolo right now? Where is he?
Well, I mean, hey, that's
where is he? Like, is he sitting around? Is he someone's backup, or is he just in limbo right now? Where is Garoppolo?
I'm not sure actually where he is.
Yeah, like find him someone. Put out an SOS and Garoppolo in a Cowboys uniform. That can happen because I don't know where he is anymore. I know he's not with at San Fran.
No, he is in San Fran still.
But what is he doing in San Fran?
He's sitting there watching Trey Lance play.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
The problem is they're holding him on. They're holding him there because they're not sure about Lance yet.
Yeah, correct.
They're going to give Lance the shot, and I think Lance plays the first 6 games regardless of what happens.
He does.
But you got to have.
I say Garoppolo. 4 games. I say 4, but we'll see. Maybe 6.
But they need him to. They need him to be the guy. Like they drafted huge on him, so they have to have him be the guy.
They wanted him to be the guy last year too, but you know what happens sometimes? These guys cross over from college to pro, and the speed of the game's too fast, and the plays are too difficult to remember. And this is the problem, right? And that's one thing that Tom Brady didn't get credit for. Like when he came from Michigan, people didn't realize like his intelligence to follow the playbook and to sit there and like study it. These guys, they get to the NFL and I'm like, sometimes these playbooks, man, they're might as well be teaching them algebra. You know what I mean? Like they just don't get it. And I think Trey Lance is that guy. I think he doesn't get it because I thought last year he should have been doing this and he didn't.
No.
So and it wasn't that Garoppolo was lighting it up so much. So there was a time to bring him in. They're bringing him this year. We'll see what happens. Like you said, though, I think they'll give him 6 games so he can see what happens.
Well, the rumor is right now is that Fitzmagic comes out of retirement.
Oh, who doesn't love that guy, man? Like, who can say anything bad about him? Like, it's just, I love him, man. I don't care. I don't care how old he is. I don't care what. I just think there's something.
So Fitzmagic, Cam Newton, and Gardner Minshew.
I love Minshew too. He's another baller.
They're the ones that have potential that could go there. The
What,
problem
to the Cowboys?
is
To the Cowboys?
To the Cowboys, yeah.
Oh,
and
Jesus.
so you someone has to.
Yeah, Fitz, don't put a cowboy uniform on. I love you. Don't do it.
Yeah, hell yeah. He's
Don't
in
do
retirement though, and he seems happy. But they were saying
Yeah.
like, man, maybe it could be.
You know what happens? So that's what they say about Gronk, though. They say that what's going to happen with Brady after about 10 games. They said if Brady gets to 10 games and he's like, close to the playoffs, but not all the way in, that he's gonna drop the phone call to Gronk to get him to play the last 6-7 games. And I wonder if Gronk is past that now. You know what I'm saying? Like if he's past that, because once you get, it's funny. I remember Donald Cerrone when he retired from the UFC.
Yeah.
You know what he said it? He said it best. He goes, "I just don't love it anymore."
Right.
And when I owned the MFC and did 50 shows and did it for 16 years, the last show we sold out, we had all our TV deals re-signed, our sponsorships were all re-signed. You know what the problem was, Jesse? I didn't love it anymore. I liked it, but I didn't love it, right?
Yeah.
And you have to obsessively love it to get up every day and train or whatever the case may be. And when you get to that level, and Gronk too, when you get there and you got to go like out to the field, it's hot every day and practice. It's like, nah, man, I don't want to do this no more. And he's got enough money for a few lifetimes. So, so be it.
Again, like it's a valid point. Like I think that, and especially Gronk's body, like he took massive abuse a lot. So,
but you think he doesn't because he didn't fall down all the time, but he got hit lots.
Oh, he got
right
hit all the time.
Yeah,
he always took one in the ribs. He's taller than everyone. He's reaching
in the
over
ribs.
his head. And
Correct.
Brady would throw it over his head 4 feet, so he had to go up for it every time because no one else could.
Correct.
So
never complained once about it.
Yeah,
never.
No, I mean, the guy looked like a walking robot with all that stuff strapped to him. So so you're like, okay, well, I can understand why. And he got the last Super Bowl. So what?
Correct. And don't forget, he can be as goofy as they come, but he's a great football player, and he will be in the Hall of Fame. So, you can say whatever you want, but the guy had great hands for a big guy, great hands, and run after catches, fantastic. So you can't trash talk the Gronk because he legitimately is that great, and Brady knew it. Brady knew that I kind of need him, because if I could get him here, he's my out all the time. He's his check down. Gronk is his check down. So he goes, oh, I got Gronk for my check down. So if nobody's open, and look what they got now in Tampa, they got Julio Jones and Evans, who are the two together. If you're a fantasy football person and you didn't get those two, you're insane, because I'm telling you, Evans is off the charts, and Julio Jones looked like Julio Jones.
Chris Goodwin too.
And Goodwin, but Julio Jones looked like Julio Jones yesterday. Like Julio Jones hasn't looked like Julio. Correct, but you don't need him to. You don't need him to
carry the team.
You just need flat. No, exactly. Yeah. He doesn't have to be the guy with the sack on his back. You just got to get some flashes from him. You know what's funny? He's the kind of guy though. Come playoff time, his flashes might be 120-yard games. You know what I mean?
That's the thing. Like if he does put in those games, he will put in some pretty serious. You don't got to ride him like a quarter horse now during the season, but when he gets in the playoffs, it's time to shine, and Julio, they know how to do that in the NFL. They know how to keep guys on the we need Julio just a little bit, maybe just get him 50, 60 yards a game, because we got Evans that can take the load. And then on playoff times, Julio, let's go, light it up. It's your last season. You want to go Super Bowl. But I don't know. Listen, I hate to say this. KC looked unreal yesterday. I mean, I think Patrick Mahomes, I hated him. And now I kind of understand him, because you know what? He's being disrespected. And I as a Raider fan, to say that I like Patrick Mahomes, and you know why? Because he finally is like, oh yeah, you know what? I get it. NFL don't owe me shit. I'm gonna go and get it now. I'm gonna go take it. You guys don't want to
call me the favorite. You guys are saying that the Bills are the favorite. You guys are saying, Tampa's ahead of us. You're saying all this stuff. You guys are disrespecting me. They don't even talk about him like he's the greatest quarterback in the league. They don't.
Yeah.
They're talking. They're talking about
30 for 39, 360 yards and 5 touchdowns yesterday.
There you go. And what's funny? They're talking like, oh, the Bills are going to win the Super Bowl, and that they're crowning them already. And I'm telling you, anything about the history about the Bills? Be careful on crowning them already. Be very careful.
No, I wouldn't crown them yet, but I do think that is. I would say them, the Chiefs, the Bucks, and man, jeez.
It's tough.
I mean, maybe the Broncos. We got to see what happens.
We'll see tonight. Yeah, you can't say nothing about the Broncos. Nobody knows. Nobody knows because you'll see tonight. If no one's got a chip on their shoulder, Russell Wilson should have one the size of Seattle on his shoulder. Never ever once was MVP. Won the Super Bowl. Should have won 2 Super Bowls, maybe even 3, in my opinion. And no respect. He is the Rodney Dangerfield of the NFL. So if he wants to, actually flex, this is his chance. I guarantee you they're giving him carte blanche in Denver. Like they're rolling out the red carpet for him. They're making sure that he's got, brand muffins with raisins inside in the dressing room for him for when he needs them. He wants all these little things, but he's the guy that'll deliver. So he wants those little things, but that's what the players were saying. They said they've never seen a guy so meticulous and so first at practice going over things. We got to go over that again. And rookies are looking at him like, oh, is he crazy? We got to go over him again. Yeah, we got to go over him again because he doesn't just want to make the playoffs, man. He wants to win the Super Bowl.
Yes, he does. And again, I don't know what's going to happen tonight. It's in Seattle. And so, man, I don't know what they're going to do.
They can't boo him. They can't.
Maybe.
Oh, they can't. You can't. He did everything right with the community. He did everything right with the team. It's not this is the kind of stuff that happens. You can hate him all you want, but you can't deny who he was in Seattle. Yeah. I don't care. So, you don't want him to win, but you don't boo a guy like Russell Wilson. You just don't.
Yeah, I think I'm interested to see what happens. I think there'll be some, obviously, that feel like it was like that. But again,
of course, when you're hardcore like that, when you're hardcore, like I love Khalil Mack, but I hope he gets run over by a bus last night when he was playing. But Khalil Mack's, in my opinion, still got 4 or 5 years of just killing people, and he looked great yesterday night. And he told all his friends. He told his friend Bosa, that's on his team now. He said that all the other guys on the defense. We just got to pressure Carr. He'll crumble like a cheap brick. He'll just like a launcher. He'll fold like a launcher, and he'll just buckle. And Khalil Mack told him that. You know why? Carr still can't move his feet in the pocket. You ever notice that? He doesn't know when to step out of the pocket. Listen, it's easy, and you go check. I don't know shit, but go check. 2.5 seconds you got in the NFL. If not, move your feet. Maybe 3 seconds. Ask Russell Wilson. He does it the best.
Yeah.
He in his head, he goes,
the most. Yeah.
But he goes, and now he has, trust me, did you see his offensive line now? Yeah. Watch out. 1001, 1002, 1, throw the ball. If you're not going to throw the ball, move your feet. For some reason, Derek Carr cannot figure that out. He just lets the whole pocket implode on top of him. So, if you don't have a mobile quarterback in the NFL in this day and age, and there's only one exception to that rule, which is Tom Brady, because of his intelligence, the rest of them have to move their feet.
Man, we're going to see what happens. It happens in about 20 minutes time.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I don't miss my Raiders play, and I don't miss Sunday Night Football, and I never miss Monday Night Football, and I'm 50-50 on Thursday Night Football. I think that was a mistake by the NFL.
Thursday Night Football. I think
I'm 50-50 on it. I'm like, it all depends who's actually playing, and then
But they put those games on that don't matter really. That's the point.
Yeah, there's nothing ever sexy on Thursday Night Football game. No. Maybe they're gonna try something different now. So hopefully
I don't like it. I just want it on the weekend, and that's it.
Yeah,
but yeah, you know what? It's going to be an interesting season. And the Cowboys, I mean, how many turnovers were yesterday's games? Like, it was mind-blowing. I don't understand.
Like I said, I was so mad about my game yesterday. Then I watched the Cowboys play, and I felt better. So that's as simple as that. NHL starting in the first week of October. So that's coming in like 3 weeks and change. And I love what the Oilers did, but I love what Calgary did and I like to call it, they did a sneaky, it looks super sneaky what they did. They literally looked like they were folding up and leaving the division. They literally did at one point, and then they doubled down and they got some great pieces, and those pieces can make a huge difference going into next year. Now, when I saw what the Oilers did with getting Campbell from Toronto, which I think the guy is an absolute stud.
Yeah, I really like it.
I do. I think he's like the Oilers don't have to score 7 goals a game now. Okay, they don't have to score 6 goals a game now. Like they did have to do that with the prior goalies. With Campbell, you don't have to do that. So you have to look at it now. Like this team, the Oilers, if you can't do nothing this year, you gotta seriously unload. You have to unload.
Well, that's what I mean. I say, why not try to still get another defenseman?
I agree.
And then really no. And then like, hey, like we got what everyone said we needed. We got it.
Yeah, and then if you don't do it, then there's a chemistry issue.
There's something
else. Call it a day, and then you might have to move people. And I'm going to get killed for saying this in Edmonton, but you might have to move Draisaitl. You might have to move, Nugent Hopkins. You might have to move these kind of people because you can get things for them, but you can't move McDavid.
No.
You just can't, right?
No,
but the Oilers moved Wayne Gretzky back in the day, so anything's possible.
I mean, that was a different story. I mean, everything is possible. It is a business, and that's what it is at the end of the day. So,
did you ever think you'd see Tom Brady in a Tampa Bay Buccaneer jersey?
No,
never. No, it's crazy. Did you ever think you'd see Russell Wilson in a Denver Broncos jersey? I mean, it's crazy when you see this. But this is what it is now. All you kids that are going into professional sports, you will find out something very quickly. It's hard to be for the love of the team anymore. Do you know what I'm saying? Yes, the team you're on, sure, for that time frame, but to really, double down on get a tattoo of a Detroit Red Wing on your chest, right. It's probably a bad idea, if you get drafted by them, because you won't be there forever.
It's crazy.
And Jesse, I want to bring this up too. Someone passed away yesterday, 34-year-old Elias Theodorou, who was in the UFC. And if you remember him, he's the long-haired guy. Yeah. He died at 34 years old of liver cancer.
Yeah.
And we just want to send out our deepest condolences. I knew Elias, and it's crazy. Like, he won the Ultimate Fighter, the Canadian thing. He won the entire thing. And it's just really weird how it's sad, but a 34-year-old kid losing his life to liver cancer.
Yeah, that's sad.
It's just horrendous.
Yeah.
Horrendous.
Well, Mark, it's been another week. It's an exciting time in sports. It's obviously NFL is kicking off again.
It is.
We're back.
Watch LIV Golf. Watch LIV Golf, everybody. It's coming up this weekend. I think they're in Chicago. Chicago, yeah. So watch LIV Golf. We know where they are now. Isn't that crazy? And then what else we got? There's fights coming up on this weekend. I mean, the last weekend was crazy.
But
yeah, go ahead.
Well, no, I'm just saying the hockey season's starting too, which, it is what it is. But
yeah, I agree, Jesse. It's funny. You're right, Jesse, because 84 games or whatever it is, and it's a long season. And so it's really hard to get into it until
coming around. That's what we're talking about.
I agree. And we hopefully our Raptors can get.
Yeah, looks like they're targeting a couple guys, so we'll see.
Just one big guy. I was praying at one point when Brooklyn. What's his name?
Wanted KD?
Oh my God! He said he loved Toronto. He said he loved Toronto. He said, and he loved a bunch of players on Toronto.
I just think the price was probably too high for them.
Oh, so, I don't think nothing was too high for him.
Well, it's too high for Masai.
I know, but between me and you, I'm like, that's it. Put him in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's my greediness of wanting to have a great team this year. But that's one team I just absolutely love. I love the Raptors. I'll wear their hats. I'll wear their stuff with great pride. And I know I talk lots of shit about the Maple Leafs, everybody, and I know everybody yells at me for that. But what I'm trying to tell you is the Raptors are different. They're the Canadian team. They're the Canada's team, and just absolutely love them. And I hope they have a huge season.
Well, everybody, if you have a broken windshield or broken glass, or little Johnny's practicing hockey, shoots a puck
Smashes
through
the back window.
your back window or your front window, call 310 Glass. Crystal Glass for all your glass needs.
The clear choice for all your glass needs.
Or crystalglass.ca.
Yes. And don't forget Meatheads, specialty meat shop, and seafood. Fantastic, guys. I was there the other day. I'm telling you, way too much stuff. Way too much selection for me, man. It's like I gotta watch.
Well, I'm gonna go watch the Seahawks, see what happens.
Me too.
I don't have a lot of hope.
Go Seahawks. My sister and you are the biggest Seahawk fans I know, and I'm wishing them huge success. I want to see Denver buckle like a cheap one.
That's Mark Pavelich. I'm Jesse Martineau. This has been the Me and Jesse podcast. We'll see you next time. Have a good night, everybody.
Thanks for watching the Me and Jesse podcast. Follow us at facebook.com/Me and Jesse.